This is the Gafcon live stream, and our hashtag is hashtag Gafcon 2018. I'm going to go now to Melvin Tinker. Melvin, come and join us. Melvin Tinker, of course, from the Diocese of York and the Church of England, and I'm going to talk to you about the challenge of secularism, because that's your big seminar that you're giving.
Right, yes.
But before we get to that, issues from the platform this morning, reactions from the platform this morning.
Well, I thought Archbishop Oko's address was absolutely brilliant and very challenging, very stirring, and very pertinent, I think, to the English situation, because it was a challenge, I think, particularly to those in the Church of England who are Orthodox, who are failing to speak out. And what he says about failing to speak out means that you're actually given the impression that orthodoxy is simply an option, and eventually that's going to disintegrate. So I hope that my fellow delegates here and other people back in the UK will listen very hard to what the Archbishop said, take it to heart and do something about it.
Give us some of the background of some of the complexities you're facing in the Church of England at the moment.
Well, in a sense, I guess it ties in what Gavin and I are going to be presenting on Wednesday. And it really is an example, I think, of the way in which secularism, the process of secularism, is at work. Secularism is the process whereby religious ideas and institutions become marginalised, pushed further and further to the margins of society. And that's what's happening in the Church of England. But the way in which it is happening is through this stuff which I'm going to talk about called cultural Marxism, whereby people's minds and attitudes and values and feelings are shaped, not by coercive means, but by non-coercive means, mainly through propaganda, getting into schools, through the media and so on. So eventually people think, well, like for example, gay marriage, well, it's natural, it's obvious, isn't it? And that's the shift that's taken place very subtly over the last 30, 40 years, and the Church of England's fallen for it, hook, line and sinker.
It must be really depressing for you as a minister of God in England for a long time to have seen this trajectory away from biblical faithfulness. And what does it make you think about? The people who've promised to be prophets of God, to stand and declare the word of God, and then have so flagrantly broken their ordination vows, their vows of becoming a bishop, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I was ordained 35 years ago, and the Church of England that exists today is not the Church of England I belonged to then. And in fact, if I was thinking of ordination now, I would not think of the Church of England because it's such a corrupt and corrupting institution. So it is heartbreaking to see what's happened. But when you look at the Bible and also church history, this is not the first time it's happened, nor will it be the last time. But I think what's different about today is that it's not that you've got sort of upfront ideas and false gospels being presented in a very sort of clear, articulate way. It's much more subtle than that. And it's, for example, let's take Archbishop Welby's use of the term mutual flourishing. That's the mantra. We all want I want everyone to mutually flourish. My wife's a gardener. I can tell you she doesn't want mutual flourishing of the weeds and the plants in her garden because the weeds eventually crowd out the plants. So we don't want mutual flourishing.
No, we want true teaching to flourish and false teaching to stop.
Absolutely. We want to root out the weeds. We want to get rid of the couch grass and the Japanese knotweed equivalent in the Church of England. So evangelicals and Orthodox within the Church of England should stop kowtowing to this notion of mutual flourishing. We don't want mutual flourishing. We want the gospel to flourish. We want orthodoxy to flourish. And we need people, our leaders, to say that.
One of the things we're seeing here at Gafcon is just how vibrant and amazing and gospel-focused the Anglican communion across the world can be.
Honestly, this morning, on two occasions, I was literally in tears. I was so moved. And particularly because of the witness of our African brothers and sisters who genuinely suffer. In England, we're English, we like to please everybody, and we get a bad name, and we want to avoid that. These people are literally today are dying. And yet the joy on their face, their conviction and commitment to the gospel is so impressive. We need to capture that. It's great to see it.
Great. Melvin, thanks so much for talking to us.
My pleasure.
Thanks very much. Cheers. God bless.